Okay, I'm gonna give a quick little update on that giant Ficus Alii. Still never know how to say it. But first, this is one that's finally, I just trimmed it, so it's a little sparse, but it's finally starting to get pads built out. But this was my first Ficus, and I had no idea. I wasn't even intending on doing a bonsai. I don't know if you call this bonsai because it's not, it doesn't really look like a real tree. I mean, it kind of does. It's pretty cool. But I would have done it differently. But this is from '07. So how many years is that? Almost 17 years. But this one I was just getting creative and seeing what I could do. So you look at, that's a root that comes out of there, branches out. And I mean, it's just kind of fun. It doesn't look real, but like a lot of these branches are just welded together with these roots. So it's fun. I wouldn't say it looks real, which I guess is what bonsai is, but this tree is probably 25 years old. And see, these are welding together. And like this one, like this starts, I just was doing weird stuff. I wasn't even thinking about bonsai. I was just having fun. And like these actually melt together with all this. And you know, I would have done the structure, but there's not much taper in this stuff, but there's fun structure. And I'm thinking about doing almost getting a cutting that I'd taken from this tree and growing the roots out long and actually placing that on top, all because it just is weird. The tree follows more of a upright position until right there, and then it gets all squirrely. And so it looks odd, but I may just leave it and not mess with it. But all this section here is really cool too. Like that root that came out of here, and these over the years have just all welded together into some pretty crazy structure in there. Which is why I would say, I don't know if this is standard bonsai here, but pretty neat though. And I'm actually getting the pads, which I just trimmed all this the other day. So it needs to fill out a bit more, but you can actually see a lot of the structure of the tree through the branches, and it looks the most like an older tree that it has since I got it. That is the top. That's the top of that tree, part of the top of that tree anyway. Why aren't you focusing on there? Yeah, so lighting's not great for that, but this one's pretty cool. That's my 500-gallon fish tank that built in wall, installed this puppy, just me and some of my friends. Built all this myself, designed that sump. I like fish. I gotta figure out how to get the algae off. That's my only big issue. This is pencil cactus bonsai that I'm working on. I bought this in Florida. I live in Colorado, as you can see. And this thing, it was about 10 feet tall, and I got it for 60 bucks. Then I had to get it back home, so I chopped it, bought a suitcase from Walmart, put that sucker in that suitcase from Walmart, prayed, cut off a bunch of cuttings, took that home in the suitcase too, and look, it's alive. Made the trip. That thing's so cool. This is just messing around with this jade. It actually goes back into the ground. These are some other Ficus microcarpa that I've took from cuttings, and eventually I'm going to splay those roots out and try to get a wider base on that. But these are starting to weld together, so that's how I'm getting my taper. This is another one where as you can see, it does taper because they peel off. So eventually these will all weld. It's I guess a cheater's way of doing bonsai. Again, I'm not sure if you call it bonsai, but it's fun. This one is another microcarpa. That actually goes to the bottom of the pot. So this is rooting out from here all along the trunk. So I chopped this one off of that one you can see right there. That I trunk chopped it. This was the trunk that and it goes below there, and the roots are coming down. So once I start lifting it out of the soil, it'll look really cool. That's been about 2 years. And again, this is just one I'm messing with, because eventually I'll have it lifted out of the soil and you'll have a thicker trunk with roots coming down it. But I brought all these together from the 4 points, and as you can see, that's all welded together. So it's kind of cool. It's gonna be, it'll be interesting. So we'll watch that. This is a umbrella tree that I'm training roots down on from the top. So it's pretty hacked up right now. But this is my office. So got my fish and I got my plants all in my office. So I have a lower garage. That's a shop. And then my plant room. This is the Ficus Alii or whatever. Those are the other pencil cactus cuttings. Give you an idea how big those are. And they're some of them are taken anyway. There's new growth coming out of those. It's been a couple months. This thing, if you haven't seen my first video, this thing was 16 feet tall, and I'm about to start wiring stuff. I'm trying to graft this branch into these roots, so that, and then I'll cut it off here, so it comes straight out of these roots eventually. And it's doing fine. All this is new growth. I got it from a commercial building up in north of Denver, and it was, again, about 16 feet tall. Just this pot itself, I don't know, it's 4.5, 5 feet across. It's huge. That gives you an idea how big that is. I mean, this is just one root that has broken off of it that's that big. So, I mean, that's probably, the main part of that trunk's a foot wide, and then those roots stick out further. But man, we're calling this our avatar tree. So my kids and I are gonna eventually build a village into this. And one thing that's cool that I will do eventually is actually run lighting through the tree. So you just drill small holes and use LED lighting to like light up the structures inside, and it'll all be inside the tree, so there'll be no cords shown. That is actually a cutting, and I mean, give you an idea how big that is. That is a cutting from the top of that is taking, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, look at this. This is all since I got this and I made that first video. I mean, some of these branches are getting thick and just tons of growth. So I'm about to start wiring this stuff and making pads. But this is so cool. Like, that ceiling's 12 foot high. So if you count probably the plant's 6-7 foot tall from here down to the pot, and then the pot's 4 foot tall. This is the top of that first Ficus benjamina that I showed you. That was in the beginning of the video. This is where I chopped the top, and I've got this to grow over the rock, which is pretty cool over the last few years. I just did a major cutting. It looked like a broom style, but I just chopped it all down to get new growth out of it, so it doesn't look that pretty right now. But yeah, so when we built our house, I got my plant room, which is, this thing is just, I have to show this again. If you're bored, you can jump off, but this is, I mean, if you can get down in here, I mean, just look at this from the base. I don't even know what's below that soil. I bet you it's really cool. But you just follow your way up this tree. There is so much to this. And once we get our village and lights, it's gonna be pretty cool. So anyway, that's my update. It's growing. Next update, I will likely have a whole bunch of wiring done on this thing, and it'll look very different. And I'll likely have updates on this pencil cactus, because I have not been able to find them like this, especially not in Colorado, so that's pretty cool. All right, if anyone has any tips on getting pencil cactus cuttings that are really thick like that to grow, I'd love to help, because I've never done it.